Buzz is your rapid-fire look at the best political topics of the day. 3 topics, 30 seconds on the clock. Playing with us today, Maria Cardona, a CNN contributor and Democratic strategist, and Caton Dawson, a Republican consultant and former chairman of the South Carolina Republican Party. Welcome to you both.
Good morning, Carol.
Good morning.
Happy Friday.
Good morning. I know. Happy Friday.
Happy Sequester Day.
Yeah, I'm going to celebrate at 11:59. Not. In just about a half hour, seriously, though, President Obama will sit down with top congressional leaders to, I don't know, negotiate the $85 billion in forced spending cuts. Those dramatic cuts will impact almost everything from the military to Medicare to education to food inspection and homeland security. President has until 11:59 tonight to sign the order, so I'm asking for predictions. Maria, will he put pen to paper?
Well, given that nothing can really happen to change it if Congress isn't in town because they would have to pass a bill for the president to sign in order to change it, I do think these cuts are going to go into effect, unfortunately. So I think today, after a little parcheesi, a little beer drinking, I think they will get down to real negotiations, Carol, in terms of how to avoid the long-term pain that will be inflicted on middle-class Americans and those most vulnerable if these cuts are allowed to continue to happen. It needs to be a balanced approach, and Speaker Boehner needs to understand that the American people agree with how this president wants to do it.
Caton.
It's about time that we address the federal deficit. The budget this year is even larger than it was last year. I think Republicans have acted responsibly. Certainly neither side wanted it to get to this, but it was inevitable that the day would come. They're going to have some cookies and some cake at the White House and shake hands and do some political posturing, but at the end of the day, the president's going to do what he can do, which is nothing tonight and which he hadn't done in the past. So I think that for conservatives, we finally, the first step towards reducing the federal deficit, something that 84% of the Americans have as a concern in their top 5 numbers.
All right, second question. We saw Mitt Romney and his wife Ann almost every day for months and months during the campaign. But after Governor Romney made his concession speech, he quickly faded from view, rarely speaking out. Well, the Romneys are back and doing their first televised interview for Fox News.
And it was really quite a lot of energy and a lot of passion and a lot of people around us, and all of a sudden it was nothing. But the good news is, fortunately, we like each other.
It's different, but it's like, you know, riding on a roller coaster. We were on a roller coaster, exciting and thrilling, ups and downs, but the ride ends, and then you get off. And it's not like, oh, can't we be on a roller coaster the rest of our life? It's like, no, the ride's over.
We know Mr. Romney is going to speak at CPAC, the big conservative gathering, in just a few weeks. But what role, if any, do you think Romney should play in the Republican Party? Caton.
Well, first, they're a very nice family and well-respected people, and I think the governor, Romney, can choose his role in the Republican Party of what he wants. But we as Republicans have to move past that last election for the reason is there's winners and losers, and we lost. So I think as a party, we certainly will go to his wisdom and guidance on economic matters, but I think the governor will be able to choose his place in history. I applaud the last 9 years of his activism inside the Republican Party. He is a friend, and they're a wonderful family, and we thank them for their service. But at the end of the day, the party's going to move on pretty quickly to repair the damage.
But goodbye, you're saying. Okay. He put that so charmingly, though, didn't he, Maria?
He sure did. Good for you, Caton. But unfortunately, I think that is where most Republicans are. I don't think they want Mitt Romney to play any sort of role, small or large, in the Republican Party because of the loss that Caton talked about. I certainly don't think they will put him in charge of any message development anytime soon. They won't put him in charge of any Latino outreach anytime soon. So I think that he should go back and do what he does best, which is make millions of dollars. Maybe that's something he can do for the Republican Party, is continue to raise money. He was certainly good at that. But I think most Republicans want to run as far away from him as possible. His own son said that he didn't really want to be president, so.
Okay, on to the third and final question. In about 2.5 hours, this man, Governor Rick Snyder of Michigan, is set to announce a state takeover of the city of Detroit. The governor will appoint an emergency financial manager, someone who could slash city jobs and services. It will probably mean bankruptcy for the city of Detroit, which would be the largest of its kind in U.S. history. After all this, should the federal government bail out Detroit? like it did New York City back in the 1970s? Maria?
Well, I say, why not? I mean, why should Detroit not be a city that the federal government comes to the rescue just like New York City was? But I would propose something different, Carol. Why don't we take or ask all of the banks that you and I in Canton rescued back in 2008 during the financial crisis, why don't we ask them to put some money on the table to come and rescue Detroit?
Interesting. Don't think that's going to happen, though. Caton?
Carol, another example, let me give kudos to a Republican governor, Snyder, who's come in to do the responsible thing. Do I trust the federal government to help anybody back home do anything right now? Probably not. Look at what's happening today. So Detroit it went from 2.8 million people in the late 60s to 500,000 people right now. It's caused its problem by bad political policies. And so right now, the governor's done the right thing. No, the federal government should not do anything in New York.
All right. Well, thanks to
Detroit, excuse me.
I got what you meant.
New York, Detroit.
Thank you so much for playing today, CNN contributor Maria Cardona and Republican consultant Caton Dawson.
Thanks, Carol.
Thank you.
You're welcome.